Hi, can you hear me? Just testing my audio. Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, Glenn. I'm just using my husband's computer in our office because I have 8 boys on my computer trying to figure out where they can go for spring break because airfares are buy one, get one on Alaska through tonight.
Oh, wow. Is that for everywhere or just domestic?
It includes Hawaii and anyway, yeah, it's a really good, I think, I don't know, everything I've seen. I think they're finding fares to Florida for like $270 total for 2 people, which is like incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Good thing they're not in high school and have all graduated.
Oh yeah, no, they're all like older. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not responsible. I think most of them have had COVID anyway already. I shouldn't admit that, huh?
oh. Okay. Christy, I see that you're online.
Yeah.
And I just sent you an email saying that I hadn't received an update from OSAA. And as soon as I hit send, I got an update from OSAA. It was due today.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a couple things happening.
Okay, great. Sorry for the last minute thought. I thought about it earlier, but then I didn't write it down anywhere. So I spaced it for like 48 hours.
I would have included it if I had received it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think as soon as we're waiting for one other person. I'll print this off real quick.
Looks like we're still waiting for, is it Bill and Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
And just so everyone's aware, the live stream has started.
I'll give it a few more minutes and then, or another minute or so, and then we will get going.
Glenn, I have the agenda up on my other screen whenever you want me to share, okay?
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a techie tonight, so thank you.
Greg is helping with the live stream. Linda's doing the agenda support. And Diane is doing general support across the board. Takes a village.
Well, I don't see Jason yet, but I think I'm going to head and call this meeting to order. It is 6:03, February 8th, 2021. We will start off with a roll call. Ricardo,
Here.
Christy,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Crystal,
Here.
Jason, Heidi,
Here.
and Chair's present. Moving along, if you guys would all join me in a flag salute. And the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody should have been sent the agenda. So I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the agendas as presented.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thanks, Heidi. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Ricardo. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Ricardo,
Yeah.
Christy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Crystal,
Aye.
Jason. Don't hear that Jason's here. Heidi,
Aye.
chair votes for. Motion carries. Agenda is as it was presented to us. I did not received any public comments submitted prior to 2 o'clock. So I don't have anything in the way of public comments to present to you. Moving along to section 2, board communication. I have a brief statement I'd like to read in honor of Black History Month, if you would indulge me. The North Marine School Board takes pride in joining Americans throughout the country in recognizing February 2021 as Black History Month. Black History Month recognizes and pays tributes to the contributions that Black and African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality, and deepens our understanding of our shared history. Many Black and African Americans have long experienced disparities, exclusion, discrimination, and many barriers to being able to cast their vote. Dating back over 100 years, Black and African Americans have had to fight and campaign to have voting rights and be recognized as voters. Generations of Black and African American individuals, families, and communities have played a significant role in protesting the urgency for voting to be barrier-free, inclusive, and non-discriminatory. Our diverse culture enriches, broadens the American history, of which Black and American heritage is an inseparable part as it weaves throughout our country's history, profoundly influencing every aspect of our lives. We commend the many achievements, successes, and contributions of Black and African Americans in voters' rights movements, as there have been a significant rise in Black and African American elected and appointed officials locally and nationally. Inequality and injustice still lingers in our cities, states, and countries, and it is the responsibility of citizens to advance the American notion of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. I appreciate you guys indulging me in that. Moving along, all of you should have received an email invitation for a roundtable event with Kurt Schrader. That's happening next Friday, I believe. It's February 12th. I don't have the day of the week in front of me, but I have it on my calendar. 3 to 4:30. if I would encourage you to attend, it's a way for us to have a seat at the table on the national level, and be able to interact and interface with elected officials who are representing us in Washington. I would, definitely encourage you to attend that roundtable, and also to provide feedback. I'd like to have some feedback from you guys at a later meeting, probably at our March meeting, kind of a decompress as to what you gathered in terms of information there.
Glenn,
Yes, go ahead.
can I ask, is there anybody right now planning on attending that from the school board? I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but I'd like to hear about it.
Sure. Does anybody else want to chime in?
It's Crystal. I'll probably attend.
Yeah, same for Christy.
Well, that'll be good representation. I'm planning on attending as well too. I don't know, are you planning on attending, Bill
Yeah,
or
I'll be
Ricardo?
there. I haven't really give it a thought, but I'm gonna try to.
Okay. Great. Well, it'd be good to have a good contingent of us there. So
I'll be there as well.
awesome. Moving along to OD state education updates and OSBA updates. I would actually just pass that to, or I'll have you guys delve into that information a little further. We are still continuing to receive updates on many things, mostly COVID related, but other things as well. I would add in that I was on a legislative policy committee call on Friday, and there are many bills making their way through, actually not making their way through. There's sort of a disjointed session from what I'm hearing from our lobbyists. One in particular is regarding student resource officers. That's a little bit of a bill of contention. And then, others related to a myriad of other subjects. We don't really have a clear direction yet, as it's pretty early in the session, but would like to acknowledge some donations and gifts. Pam Meekum for $200 in an in-kind cash donation, much appreciated. Vernon Denise Choin with a cry-cut machine, actually 3 of them, and bookcase games and board games, much appreciated for your continued support of the district in terms of giving of both time and resources and money that you have to support the work that happens here at North Marion. I'd also like to make you aware of the board vacancies that will be up for re-election. Position 1, mine, Heidi Torian, position 3, Jason Salen, position 4, Christy Buckland, position 5, and Bill in position 6. The deadline for filing is on March 18th with a $10 filing fee, and then your statement of inclusion for the voters pamphlet is due by March 22nd. And I would encourage you to think about that and consider it in making your decision, whether some of those who are incumbents are running again or whether you're passing that off. But and I'd add in there, much appreciate your service. It is volunteer, it's a lot of work and a lot of reading, but I do appreciate everybody who steps up to take that role on. With that, I will move on to section 3, which is our consent agenda. I trust all of you have gotten a chance to look through the minutes, and I would entertain a motion to move forward with that.
Okay, I'll move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Thanks, Heidi and Bill. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Ricardo?
Aye.
Christy?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Crystal?
Aye.
Jason? Not sure if he's on yet. Not hearing Jason. Heidi?
Aye.
Chair votes for, motion carries. Moving along to section 4, business bond and budget appropriations update. Are you ready, Linda, to give us an update?
I am. Not much changing on our revenue and expense spreadsheets, but I did want to point out the one that is for the other funds. If you scroll to the bond section, the payment was pretty high in January, and that's because we released some of our retainage for Todd Construction. They've completed phases 1 and 2, so it didn't feel fair to hold all of their retainage still. So we let about 800,000 of it go. Are there any questions for me on that?
Thanks, Linda.
Yes, there's a question.
Sorry, I can't see if somebody's raising their hands, but
Crystal has a question.
Hey, it's Crystal, and if you need to, you can answer this later. I just forgot to ask it. What did we ever decide on the exercise tax amount? Remember the change order that was put in? I think it was for around 150,000.
The construction excise tax?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the numbers that it started with and where it ended, but we did not go with the full amount.
Okay, so we did a partial. Can you send me the info on that later?
Yeah, I can. Like I
Okay.
said, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yep.
Linda, I had one question for you. When do we expect our next revenue forecast?
The first Monday of March.
Okay, so it's coming up.
Yes.
Are your tea leaves telling you anything, or probably not yet?
Telling me they want to get between 9.1 and 9.6, and that we're probably not going to get to the 9.6, but somewhere in between.
Good, good. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that.
The biggest issue that I'm hearing is that the legislature wants to split it, the fiscal office, I think, wants to split it at 50-50, and we like the 49-51% because the second year of the biennium always is more. If they do split it 50-50, we will not spend it 50-50. We will spend it 49-51, and we will hold some back in reserves.
Sure, that makes financial sense. So thank you, Linda, much appreciated. Are you, does that complete your report?
Yes, except for we have a part B for me. So it's approve the resolution for the Winnahaw Group.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you want me to pull it up so someone can read it or what you would like to do.
I
Are
would
we
prefer it
at
be
section
pulled
5?
up. If you could pull
Are
it
we-
up for the people watching online.
If we jump to section 5, then we missed 5A.
Yeah, I think Linda.
Yeah, I actually have that under a different section.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
It's in 5B, so.
Yeah,
the
that's-
next thing.
I'm sorry. It's after the budget committee. Sorry.
No, it's good. Thank you, Linda, much appreciated.
Yep.
Moving along to section 5, we have two people who have graciously stepped forward to submit their application to be on our budget committee. And I would certainly entertain a motion to appoint both of them if you so desire.
I'll move that the board appoint Jolene Ash to position 1 and Emily Hammack to position 6 of the Budget Committee, terms ending June 30, 2023.
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Bill and Ricardo. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, Ricardo,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Crystal.
Aye.
Not sure Jason's here or not. Jason? Heidi?
Aye.
Chair votes for. And welcome aboard to our newest member, Emily, and thank you again for agreeing to do that, Jolene. I appreciate your willingness to step forward and work on the budget committee. So next item on board action items is approval of resolution for the Winnahaw Group. I don't know, did you want to read that, Bill?
Sure. I think there was a request to pull it up on the screen. Oh, there it is.
It is,
Aha.
yep.
It just popped on my screen. So a resolution of the North Marion School Board of Directors conveying appreciation to the Winnaha Group, Karen Spellman. Just read it by title, or you want to hear the whole thing?
It's up to you. You created it, and they've done an awful lot of work for us.
I'll just roll down to the main section. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 8th day of February by the Board of the North Marion School District that the school board wishes to thank Kieran Spellman of Winnaha Group for his dedication, professionalism, knowledge, and collaborative attitude in bringing the district's bond construction to success. His project management skills through many unforeseen issues and design updates were outstanding, especially noting the issues that COVID-19 brought to the process of completion. The district is committed to supporting capital improvements to deliver the best education outcome for our students.
Thank you, Bill. I would entertain a motion to accept this resolution as presented.
I'll move.
Your hand raised. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. No, I just wanted to also echo the sentiment in this resolution. I think Kieran has been outstanding, and we were very fortunate to have his skills with us. And thank you for writing this resolution. And I couldn't be more pleased with how everything's gone. And I think Kieran has been the stable guiding rudder through this whole thing. And so I just want to express my thanks too.
Thanks, Heidi.
I'll move that we approve resolution 0208 2021 Winnaha Group as presented.
I'll second.
Thanks, Bill and Christy. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll move for a vote. All those in favor, Ricardo,
Aye.
Christy,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Crystal,
Aye.
Jason, Heidi,
Aye.
chair votes for. That resolution carries. And I would echo, Heidi, your comments. They're spot on. I think we had just an immense person in having Kieran lead this project as our project manager, and I would echo those sentiments. It's very, everything was done very professionally, and it was amazing to just the level of detail he would know on any school tour. If you were with him on any tour, he knew down to the circuit board and to the scrubbing of of cleaner on material that was still there, what was happening and how he was making it meld with the students who were there, and then in the interim when the students have been there. But much appreciation, and thank you, Bill, for presenting that resolution for us. Moving on, I am, as chair, making 2 appointments for ad hoc committees. The first appointment is to create a committee is to collaborate and research and come to some sort of alignment on creating a district report card. And so I am naming Bill Gropp as committee chair on that. He will be reaching out to individual members to populate that committee. It is going to be populated with a couple other board members, but then also with staff, and at his discretion, community, community and staff. Well, probably not so much community, but definitely staff and admin. So I just wanted to announce that. Second appointment is the appointment of Christy Buckland to be chair of our committee on equity through policy. She's a new board member, and she has graciously agreed to take on this project, and it is it is a big project. I really appreciate her agreeing to do this, but we are going to sort of fine tooth comb over our policies and look where we are deficient, look where we need to have additions or deletions or clarifications with the equity lens. Again, this is a collaborative committee to do work with admin and with staff, and that committee larger degree to also, to also engage the community. We're a very diverse community, and our policies need to reflect that every student feels included and is afforded an opportunity here to really thrive at North Marion. So I would again thank you both for stepping up and doing those committees. Some of this work that they're going to be doing, they will be presenting to us and bringing to the broader board so we can make some specific recommendations, and they'll be working in concert with staff on that. So I appreciate both those. Moving on to section 6, this is superintendent and district operations, and that would be Ginger.
Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna share some items with you. Get my screen here. Let's see. Restarting with- Okay, class of 21 comes first. All right. I think that is back on. Where did it go? Oh, yes, there we go. So, class of 2021, there was a question about, oh, wait a minute, Lippy Hybrid. I'm a little confused here, getting between the screens. Lippy Hybrid, so let's do that first. Okay, so here's the primary, the intermediate school version of this report.
Ginger, I want you to know that you're sharing your email window.
Oh, that's nice.
We should
Right.
stop that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Stop
hi.
share.
Yeah, okay. Stop share. All right. Why didn't that come out? Okay, maybe I need to put these out here. Really, come on now. I'll try this again. There we go. All right, so starting with the primary school. All right, Dave, I included this in the board report. The administrators, of course, have been working diligently to begin to make the plans and put things in place and get feedback and do surveys and work with data in order to put the hybrid plan together. So they were not unable to get this in on time to be sent to you over the weekend. They did this on their own time on the weekend. So I'm deeply grateful for them for being able to provide this information. So I want to share it with you. Update, here's the information that's being shared about the primary school and what it looks like there. Currently serving 30 students per building at the elementary school, at both elementary schools. Kids have loved being back, of course. They're following safety rules. There's some more pictures of what it looks like at the primary school. And here's some of the things that they were working on as of Friday, and then today they had meetings again. So as you can see, there's a lot of details.
Ginger, should those two dates be 119 and 126, or is it 219 and 226?
Which dates? Wait. Yes. Well, yes.
That's right. I dated something for 2020 the other day.
Yeah, so here's some shout outs. As you can see, there's a lot of people that are really stepping up to help here. And some names that you'll see, of course, the building secretaries are critical partners in making sure that people get contacted. And
Ginger, I'm just seeing the very first page up at the title page. Is anybody else seeing other?
really, it's not scrolling down.
I'm not seeing it.
That's why
scroll.
you didn't see my date question.
Ah,
Yeah, we're still
All
at
right.
the top of the screen.
oh, that's really, okay. I'm not sure what's going on. I think I'm glitchy here.
Ginger, would you like me to try? I think
Um,
I have it in the board packet, don't I?
Sure, give it a try because this way is not working. I will stop my share. There you go.
Thank you, Linda.
I don't understand. It was working just fine a little while ago.
Tech trolls.
If Linda can't get to it, I have it on my screen. It's from it's linked into the board agenda.
Yes. Oh, here it comes. Here it
Here we
comes.
go.
Okay. So there are 4 different reports, and basically all 4 schools are going through the process of making the transition. Of course, elementary is ahead because they have the go ahead and the right metrics to begin quickly. So they're working on that. They are taking sufficient time to make sure that all the details are being fleshed out so that people feel comfortable, that the protocols are in place, that all the equipment is available. The rapid tests have arrived that can be administered to symptomatic kids. Transportation's been arranged. People are starting to be grouped together. Teachers are involved in the process. And as they revisit the plans, they give feedback, adjustments are made. If there's something missing, they include that. It's been quite a process of engagement, and all the while continuing to provide comprehensive distance learning and LIPI. So this is a finish line that everyone wants to cross. Everyone is excited about the idea of those kids coming back into the building. And the more details they see about the plan, the more comfortable they're beginning to feel. And I'm not saying there aren't any reservations, of course there are. But the general feeling is in the primary and the elementary school is that this will be an exciting thing to have the kids back, and they're looking forward to it. So I can't read that from here. So there are other versions as well that are shout outs to the middle school staff for what they're doing, and the intermediate school staff for what they're doing. And of course, the secondary people have a little more time for planning because we have to wait for the trimester to begin for them to come back because of the scheduling issues. So, so that's a challenge for many people who are in that situation of making that change. There's a lot of anxiety around not knowing exactly what it looks like yet and having time to work through it. And they do have that time. So it's a work in progress. As far as the high school is concerned, they're also in the same place. Like I said, they're working on it, spending time working on it. You asked for some additional information about the high school. So I will give that to you now. Linda, can you share, please, the trimester 1? Yes. Okay, I can't read that from here, from my screen. It's kind of small. This represents the breakdown of the students, the seniors. The first thing you asked for is the seniors on track to graduate as of the end of trimester 1, which is we're almost nearing the end of trimester 2, so this will be updated in April. You'll see that. But this tells you by demographic group who is on track to graduate and which groups are not on track to graduate. And as you can see, the Pacific Island, Asian groups are at the 100% mark. But that is, this kind of percentage can be, and presentation can be a little deceptive because if they're just a few students and they're all are on track to graduate, then it appears that it's a large group, but it's not. Our largest groups are Caucasian and Hispanic. So in those groups, you can see the differences in the graduation, on track to graduate data for trimester 1. And then the third bar there is students who have identified as American Indian and not unlike statewide data, it's a group that usually has the lowest on track to graduate rate. So this is the students who are not on track are receiving support. If there's an additional graph to show, pie chart. And I wanted you to see this because this is a graphic representation of the membership of the senior class. So you can see the changing demographics of the district. If you combine the Hispanic, the Native American identified and Asian students, you can see that they're the larger piece of the pie compared to the Caucasian students. And this number will continue to change every year. This is more and more like the groups that we have coming through. I think the junior year may be a little bit different. They may be closer to 50-50, but the sophomores and on back are very much like this, if not even more so. So it's just a recognition of the students that we are serving and how that's changing compared to maybe 10 years ago. So, okay. And let's see, as far as additional information that was requested from the high school, a question was asked about graduation planning, and the graduation planning always starts the first day of the third trimester. So the update that I have from them is they have reserved the venue, Rolling Hills Church, which they always do after the previous year, or at least hoped previous year. And as they're starting to plan for graduation, they plan with the notion that they will be able to have it at Rolling Hills, but are coming up with a plan B. As they start planning senior activities, a senior class advisor and senior class council will be meeting to see what other events can be done in the COVID world. And then they'll be asking the senior parent group for input and support as they move closer to the ceremony date. There will be one senior parent as the liaison between the parents and the school, and that will help eliminate confusion and clear communication. Again, that won't start until third trimester though. And I asked for information about the Fs, the students who have received Fs in the first trimester and how that was processed. The information I received was, at the end of the first trimester, we were noticing a large number of Fs and incompletes from students. They reviewed the Ready School Safe Learners guidance on grading to see what options to do, or if they had any. And then they had many discussions on how to support struggling students with their grades, credits, and GPA. So they looked at other options rather than giving Fs. Then Deanne reached out to other principals and WESD to see if they were noticing, what they were noticing, thinking about what people were doing. The conversations led to an option of giving students that have an F or an incomplete a no grade instead. By doing this, students will not be receiving a credit for that course, and they will still need to retake the course if it's a requirement, or if it was an elective, they can take it again and choose another elective. Also, by giving a no grade, it doesn't affect their GPA. I looked for information, discussed it with Glenn and with Sherry. It sounded like an excellent option for our students. I then took the option to the instructional leaders, and they took it to their departments. The discussions were powerful and positive for our students, and they had an F. If they had an F or incomplete, we had something we could do. We used the equity lens as we were looking at these options for our students. This change also follows the Ready Schools Safe Learners Guidance. Excuse me. Our students earned a no grade for an F rather than trimester one, rather than an F for trimester one. The number of students receiving one or more no grade for first trimester, freshmen were 126, sophomores 80, juniors 111, and seniors 96. As you can see from the numbers, we will have a lot of students that will be taking classes over again, but their GPAs will not be affected. If you need more information, please do not hesitate to ask. That's from Deanne. So that's the high school information that was requested.
I have one hand raised. Heidi, have you had a hand raised for a while?
Yeah, thank you. I just had a kind of a clarifying question on that. The information you just gave us from Deanne. We're not going to need to adjust our policy, which talks about graduation. What's it called?
The number of credits.
Points. What's that?
The number of credits.
Credits. Thank you. Credits that are required. Is there going to be any kind of waiver this year, or?
No, we won't need to do that because our current policy aligns with state policy on that. Anything that we do extra is something that we add in through our curriculum rather than through adding additional policy on top of it.
So the chart that you showed us for students ready to graduate on time is per our current policy with nothing changed for the pandemic.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that.
Yes, yes. And the current rate, that whole aggregate group together is 82% of the seniors. So you have that number as well.
I have a couple other questions. It looks like one from Christy. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you please tell me, are those numbers of students with one F, or is that the number of Fs per course, or so a student could have multiple and they would only count as one, or what?
Yes, these are the number of students.
Students with at least one F.
Correct.
Okay, and then do you have, like, maybe this is a follow-up question for later, but ballpark, how is this different than in normal years? Normal.
Very different. Yeah, very different.
Okay.
But let's for next month, because in April we're going to get the next set of data,
Okay.
and we can do that compared to last year at this time we had the same problem, so maybe we'll have to go back the year before that.
Right. Okay. Yep.
I also see a hand raised from Crystal.
How does this work with our sports policy?
I did see something about, not unlike the usual season, if students there is an eligibility requirement, and if students are behind, there has to be a plan in place to help them catch up. And if they have that plan in place and they're working on it, they're still eligible. So it's that same kind of rule.
Okay, just from a social emotional learning aspect, do we need to put something in place that allows these children to have activity regardless of this no grade? Is that something that we need to talk about?
Well, yeah, we would, I know for OSAA is a different than just having an activity in intramural clubs, those kinds of things.
Right.
There should be lots of different ways in which people can participate. And I think there are right now, but
Because
yeah, go ahead.
are we really under the, since there's not any competitions, they can continue to practice?
Correct.
Okay. So if that becomes an issue as a board member, I would like us to draft something that allows these children to have opportunity.
Well, the board can talk about that later.
Right.
In the work session, we can.
Perfect. Can you put that down on the list
Well,
for me?
actually, the board chair has to decide what goes down on the list.
Okay.
You
I'll
guys,
send them an email.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anybody else with hand raised? I'm only seeing half the screen. No, it doesn't look like it. Sorry to interrupt, Ginger. Go ahead.
I wanted to add that Deanne just sent me that OSAA will give the group waiver for hardship. So it's not just individuals, it's for the group. So that's a good thing. All right. Let's see, what else do we have here? As far as the OSAA update, I might as well, since we're talking sports, I'll give you that now that it's hot off the press, literally. Season 2 sports as of today, February 8th, cross country and soccer are able to start on February 22nd with practice and contests on March 1st. Volleyball is set to begin on February 22nd with practices and March 1 with contests for schools that are in high, moderate, or lower risk county levels. Because sports is still connected to the county levels, unlike schools. The category that's missing in that list, which is good, is the extreme risk, which is the red, the deep red. You don't want to be, what is that? It's like a burgundy color. And we're not there, but that if you're in the extreme risk category, then that would change. You would not be able to do that. So February 22nd is a movement week per Oregon Health Authority timeline, and we are anticipating additional counties moving out of the extreme risk designation. For those counties that remain in extreme risk, the board adopted a change of season request form. So if we end up being in that deep burgundy color of extreme risk, then we can request a change to have volleyball be later in the year so that they can still have a season. Non-contact conditioning, non-contact conditioning football practices scheduled to begin this week are able to proceed. Contact football is still prohibited by the governor's office, but based on recent conversations, we anticipate potential changes to contact sports guidance in the coming days. The board approved several alternative options: 7-a-side, flag, virtual lineman challenge, virtual combine, to provide opportunities for students and staff, students and schools, depending on how things unfold. In addition, per the recent survey completed by nearly every school in the association, the OSAA Executive Board adopted a revision to the practice limitation rules, and more information will be coming out about that. I guess from Glenn Elliott. We'll probably send out an update to everyone tomorrow about sports. So that's good news. Okay, my next, looking for questions, okay. My next is the OSEA MOU for you to review and see if you have any questions. This has been signed by both parties. in it, provides the clarity about the safety and the protocol, and should someone be identified as being positive for COVID, what kind of leaves apply given the circumstances. It assures that we're going to do our level best to provide all the safety protocols, the supplies, everything that's necessary for them to be able to do their jobs well and safely. And we came to an agreement pretty quickly about our concerns. We did work through some details about where we'll be able to find this information, because it was developing at the time. But it was a good process, and we felt it was beneficial, and we learned a lot. We were able to use some of what we learned and developed from this MOU to use in our MOU with UNME. So are there any questions about this? Okay. All right, so the next two topics, you can, for those of, I think you were all at the board retreat and participated in it. So the documentation is there for you to review. And I've also included in this report, the superintendent's evaluation. And then there's a second link there to the artifacts. And that's what I wanted to discuss with you tonight. Linda, will you please open the artifacts document? And that yellow, the sentence that's highlighted there, as I'm starting to put my self-evaluation together, for the new board members, we are in a in-between year. Last year, the new superintendent standards were passed. This summer, we were supposed to all attend a workshop where we were going to learn about the new superintendent evaluation standards. Of course, it was canceled, so that workshop never happened. So we're kind of a little bit behind on the learning process that could have been available specifically on this topic to give you more information. So we're using it in a way to explore and learn about the tool while we are using it. So I'm kind of like a guinea pig on this for this, and that's okay. And so are you. So what I wanted you to look at is you can read the standards and you see some of the evidence that I'm going to be providing for each of those areas, but there are specific artifacts for each category. And I really want you to spend some time looking at those. The artifacts may be collaboratively identified at the beginning of the evaluation cycle by the board and the superintendent. So by looking at them now and looking at what I present to you we didn't have time to have a conversation about this so that I could gather these things over the year. So after we have this evaluation process, and I will give you some examples of what these items are, then very soon after, maybe May of this year, we should sit down again and go over the artifacts and have you, based on some of the work that we're trying to do and our goals, choose the artifacts that you want me to focus on to gather evidence for over the next year. So that's kind of how that works. In particular, please pay attention to the artifacts for visionary district leadership, which is number 1. Standard 1. And standard 2 is kind of similar to what it has been, but standard 3 is an inclusive district culture. So that's one I would really like to spend some time focusing on. And then number 4, which is culturally responsive instructional leadership and improvement. And then the rest will be things that we're working on and we'll continue to work on. But those particular ones that I pointed out are very different than what we've done in the past. So Do you have any questions about that? Okay, well, the rest, you received the handbook and you'll have some documents to fill out and return to Glenn. And very soon, by the end of this week, I'll make sure that you have my evaluation. Our priority right now is to get kids back in school. So sometimes I'm pulled away from my work on this project in order to work on getting kids back. So if there's a delay, it's for a very good reason. And that wraps up my part for today.
Awesome, thank you. Lots of information in there. I would just direct your attention to some of the future topics coming up. I will be giving you some sort of timeline on getting those responses to the evaluation back to me. Ginger, you said you would have something you thought by the end of the week.
Yes.
Your evaluation. Okay. So we're still 2 weeks away from our work session in February, and so I'd like to probably be able to work through some of that at that session. We're on a timeline in order to complete those things. Beyond that, looking ahead, there's board goals that we need to finalize and work on, and I'll probably be reaching out to you and doing a little bit of research on that. I honestly have not done tremendous amount on that front either. So with that, if there is nothing else to come before or no other questions.
Oh, Glenn, I'm sorry. Can I
Sure,
ask
go ahead.
something? On this fillable form for the superintendent evaluation, I'm trying to scroll through it real quickly. How do we get that to you? Do we print it off and give it to you, electronic? How do we actually like fill this out and get it to you? Because it's like in a book.
You can either scan it in, send it to me, or email it to me. Or if you want to make connections and get it to me just as a hard copy, I'd accommodate that too. I can certainly accommodate that. So however the technology works best for you, but
Okay. Thanks.
I'm not sure, maybe you would know, Diane. Is it a fillable form that can, in a PDF that can be sent?
Yeah, so Heidi, it's an interactive form. So when you go into those sections, just fill out your information and then save it. I would suggest saving it as Heidi Torian Superintendent Evaluation, and then attach that as a PDF to Glenn.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks for the clarification. Anybody else have any questions or things that we need to cover yet tonight? We will be adjourning and we'll be moving into an executive session immediately following this regular business meeting. So if there is nothing else before us, I will adjourn us down, and